If you're watching this video, then you probably already know that the new Toyota Supra is mostly a BMW vehicle underneath. I'm not going to be focusing on that in this video. Instead, as the title says, this particular Supra has a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine under the hood. So what I want to know is it still deserving of this Supra badge with the 4-cylinder engine? Let's go for a drive and find out.
Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough
This version of the Toyota Supra uses the same 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that is found in the BMW 330i or 430i. It can develop 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. At least that's what Toyota claims. Now the reason why I say that is because with the 3-liter engine that's in the Toyota Supra, it has a claimed power output of 382 horsepower. And yet on dynos, that engine can produce a little over 400 horsepower. So with this 4-cylinder engine, yes, it's claimed to be 255, but it could be more. The claimed 0 to 100 km/h sprint takes somewhere around 5 seconds, and with this 4-cylinder engine, the Supra is 105 kilograms lighter than with the inline 6 engine. That's about 230 pounds. Now, of course, in a straight line, this version of the Supra is not going to be as fast as the inline 6, but this 4-cylinder is still pretty peppy. The peak torque figure is reached at around 1500 RPMs and is sustained throughout the mid-range, so when you're driving on city streets, it hardly takes any effort for this engine to get the Toyota Supra up to speed. And while this engine does not have an active exhaust like the inline 6, it still makes some pretty good noises. Have a listen. However, most of the engine sounds that you hear inside the cabin are augmented through the stereo system, but once in a while you will still hear some pops and bangs coming out the back. Overall, it still is a pretty good sounding engine, and I like it. With the smaller engine, the 2-liter Toyota Supra is more fuel efficient as one would expect. It is rated for 9.3 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. During my time with the car, I averaged an impressive 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which included mostly city driving, but a few highway blasts as well. Just like the inline 6, this 4-cylinder is mated with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Unfortunately, at the time that I'm filming this, Toyota has made absolutely no mentions of the manual transmission being available for this 4-cylinder. Hopefully in the future, because with a manual transmission, I think that Toyota could sell quite a few more of these 4-cylinder Supras. But getting back to this 8-speed automatic, it is a fantastic transmission. Shifts are really smooth when you're just driving around town or on highways, but if you put the car into sport mode and shift the gear selector into manual mode, then the shifts are really quick and really responsive when you start to use the paddle shifters. Being based on the BMW Z4 platform, the Toyota Supra 2-liter has direct and responsive steering. Unfortunately, this version does not receive the electronic limited slip differential of the 3-liter, but you can still get the back end to swing out when you're exiting a corner. Sadly, you cannot perform long drifts as easily as you would be able to with the eLSD. But if you're gentle with the throttle inputs, this car has a lot of grip from the Michelin Pilot Supersport tires. One small issue that I have with the driving dynamics of this 4-cylinder Toyota Supra has to do with the auto start-stop system. It is a bit too aggressive when you arrive at a complete stop, making it really jerky. You can turn off the system to make it easier and smoother to arrive at a complete stop, but then you won't be saving a little bit of fuel every time that you are stationary. And speaking of stopping, the brakes are really strong in this 4-cylinder Toyota Supra. It takes very little effort when you're just driving around city streets to slow the car down. Unfortunately, I've not taken this car around the racetrack, so I can't comment on whether the brakes fade or not, but just driving around the local mountain roads here in Vancouver, I haven't really noticed any of that. This 4-cylinder version of the Toyota Supra does not get any sort of adaptive dampers like the 3-liter version. But the ride is okay. I mean, it is firmer, yes, but then again, this is a sports car after all. However, you're not going to regret driving this car to and from work every day. It's pretty decently comfortable. It doesn't feel like it's punishing you for using this car every single day. However, what will punish your eardrums is all the road noise from the tires. It is really bad, especially on highways. You're gonna have to turn up that radio quite a bit in order to drown out the sound of the tires. Now looking at the inside of the Toyota Supra, it is definitely not a Mazda Miata. I am 6'4" and I fit very comfortably in here. Plenty of legroom, and same goes with headroom. I have more than enough. Now I have heard quite a few people complain about this low roofline because they can inadvertently bonk their heads when they get in or out, but I haven't really had any issues with that. Also, I haven't really noticed any sort of visibility issues looking out the side with this low roofline. If anything, I actually quite like it because when the sun is to the side of the car and it's at a low angle, this actually blocks the sunlight from hitting my eyes, so I quite like it. Speaking of visibility, the rearview mirror does obstruct a little bit of your vision to the front right, but it's not too bad. A bigger issue that I have has to do with the low roofline on the top of the windshield, because if you're the first car that's at the set of lights, then you have to hunch down a bit to actually see them. You can look to the right side for the lights, but the A-pillar is a little bit on the thick side, so you have to move your head around. As for blind zones, on the right side, no, not the right side, the left side, getting my left and right confused. On the left side, it's actually not too bad because of this little tiny windows, but on the right side, it is a little bit more obstructive. In fact, every time that I turn my head, I always find that I'm looking with my peripheral vision through the rear window. However, if you adjust your mirrors correctly, then this car shouldn't have any blind zones, and it does come with blind spot sensors. As for the rest of this interior, it is very BMW-esque, as you would expect. It is a BMW platform after all. So all of the controls, from the climate to the iDrive to the gear selector, lights, steering wheel, they're all out of various BMW vehicles. The infotainment touchscreen does look a little bit small because it is a mailbox orientation, but it is 8.8 inches diagonally. And if Toyota gave this car an even bigger touchscreen, then it would block even more of your view out the front right. One small issue that I have with this interior has to do with the placement of the cup holders. If you just rest your hand like this or around the shifter, then your elbow is inside this front cup holder. And if you're driving and you want to grab your drink, it's a little bit awkward. Plus, if you don't have a firm grasp on it, then you could end up just spilling it everywhere. And finally, because this is a sports car, that means you will probably take this to a racetrack, in which case you have to wear a helmet. So let's see how much space there is inside the Supra with a helmet. This is my motorcycle helmet, but it will suffice. And the helmet is not touching the top, so that's pretty good. It is touching the back, but again, like I said, this is my motorcycle helmet, so it has a slightly bigger back end, and I can recline the seat a little bit further back so it's not touching. It's much more comfortable. So yeah, plenty spacious inside the Toyota Supra. The trunk can accommodate 290 liters of space, but the hatch opening is very narrow. As a demonstration, here is my tripod partially extended, and as you can see, it can't fit due to the narrow opening. But there is actually enough space underneath that opening to fit in its partially extended position. With the smaller and less powerful engine, the 2022 Toyota Supra 2-liter is cheaper than the 3-liter, but it's still on the expensive side of the spectrum. It starts at $57,170 Canadian, and in Canada, there are no options or packages for it. In the United States, you can choose to add the Safety and Technology package or the Safety and Technology package with the JBL audio system. In the US, you also have two more color choices, Nitro Yellow and Stratosphere, which is a really nice looking blue. These colors are only available on the 3-liter Supra here in Canada. The 2-liter Supra has just enough gadgets to keep owners satisfied with their purchase for the Canadian market. It has heated seats, backup camera, parking sensors, adaptive cruise control, keyless entry and push-button start, dual-zone automatic climate control, LED headlights, and rain-sensing wipers. As I briefly mentioned earlier, the infotainment system is an iDrive system, but it's the old iDrive 6. As such, it does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto integration. You can get wireless Apple CarPlay in the 3-liter Supra, however, but not Android Auto. The exterior styling of the 4-cylinder Supra is almost identical to the 6-cylinder version, but there are differences. This one has 18-inch wheels instead of 19-inch wheels, but you still get pretty chunky tires. 255s on the front and 275s on the back. Also, this 4-cylinder has floating single-piston calipers on the front, whereas the 6-cylinder version has Brembo fixed 4-piston calipers. But other than that, it looks identical to the 6-cylinder. In fact, this car turns a lot of heads. I've noticed quite a few people gawking at it. The only thing that I don't like are all the fake vents. Here's one, here's another one, here's one more. Oh, and also one more in the back. It would just be nice if they were functional vents from the factory and not have to turn to the aftermarket industry to make them into real vents. Although this is essentially a BMW vehicle, the 2022 Toyota Supra 2-liter is covered by a 3-year 60,000 kilometer basic and 5-year 100,000 kilometer powertrain warranty, just like any other Toyota vehicle. Typically, BMW vehicles are covered by a 4-year 80,000 kilometer basic and powertrain warranty. So with the Supra, you get 1 extra year of powertrain coverage and an additional 20,000 kilometers. So although there isn't a 6-cylinder engine under the hood of this Toyota Supra, with the 4-cylinder, this is still a great driving car. I actually found myself liking it a lot more than I thought I would. It doesn't feel as intimidating as a 6-cylinder with all of its power, and on a twisting mountain road or on a racetrack, you can still have a lot of fun with it. Plus, it's very civil, so you can use it on daily commutes. However, I think that Toyota can make a few changes to make this car a little bit more appealing to potential buyers. Firstly, they should offer it with a manual transmission. Also, to further differentiate this car from the proper 6-cylinder Supra, they should have called it the Toyota Celica Supra, because back then, before I was even born, the Toyota Celica had a 4-cylinder and it was rear-wheel drive. So why not reincarnate it for the 2020s? As for the price, yeah, it's a little bit expensive, but I don't think that Toyota can do a whole lot to lower the price even further. I mean, they can take away the heated seats and some other features, but then people are going to start to complain. So it is what it is. But like I said, overall, with the 4-cylinder engine, this is a great car, and I've had quite a lot of fun with it, and I've even started to consider buying it for myself. Genuinely, hand on my heart, I really like this car, and I'm not just saying that to please Toyota. This is a fabulous car, and I want one. But if you want to know more about this 2022 Toyota Supra 2-liter, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck, or most likely it'll probably be an SUV next time. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing. All here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough defeat. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. We're not as tough though.